Pupu Josephine unutoa wa avene matausala la le leo American Samoa mai le fa moe sa fai le po le asto na i mawai nei o ia o le alo o le sunga ya matafua unutoa ma le tinaya asinate fui maono pine o le afioanga o aua. Sama na malole tamaitai a to foi pupu unutoa ile talingo fasili po le interview ma le faatinoina o le ava o nisi ni o vaenga o le tauwanga sa fai le vaiasu na te nei. O le tufa atasingo tongi o le au tauwa, sa sili ai tongi o le tamaitai a to foi, mai nisi tamaitai tauwa to fitu o le afiafi. Sai umai le tamaitai a to foi ma le a onga mawalunga sa moana le tausanga luafe sifuluwalu, ma faawawai ana o onga le University o South Oregon, ma mawailo na failonga le bachelor i mata upo le criminology ma le criminal justice. Ilenga te lea ai o se tasi o tōtino le military ale malo tele i le vaenga le ami, ma o lo onga luele neiva i tau le ofisa le arpa a le territory. Ua umia e ia le palo le tausala la le leo America Samoa mo le tausanga luafe lua lima luafe luono. O le ampasa na te suia le atunu i le tele o fuafuanga i te tonu mafafo atu o le territory. E tau aveina i le loto maulalo, faalo alo, ma le tausafia. Nuno yasolelei mai lau Kvzk News. O lea ua i le atunuu nisi o sui mai le malo tele mo le Vocational rehabilitation e tusa manisi o fuafuanga le ofisa o le toefuataina American Samoa. O le aunga o le nei au malanga ina ia whaia o onga mawhaaso le tō mai i le au whainga luenga le OVR ina ia le pea le au aunanga i le mamalu o le atunuu.
La non nei ua mo en fai fo ena matonga lue fatasi ma nisi fo o le vaenga mai le malo tele ro fa pe ona fatimina o unanga mo ofisa ta pe mato ofisa mai se lava nga lue mai la to tanga luanga ia e fa pe foi la o ino to o tanga le official vocational rehabilitation mo le so ina ma le fa matuina nga luanga mo la to o ero ha faina tino ma o ia faina to mo tino pon ma fo so le lava no ia lo mato fatasi ni temi ma le informa ia Dr. Tim Tansio ia lo fa pe ona vema ma fa tonu o le Vocational Rehabilitation Technical Assistance Center on Quality Employment so langa wenga la o ia le lo fa pe ona mo mai ia o nanga mai la to lo ia to mai malo tele en fa na sia mai proclama la ita per proclama ne ma to en fa foi on mo ma to o nga mo ma to staff ile fatino ino le o le mato o nanga o le saidia le nga luanga mo la to lo ia fa ina to ma o tino pon ma fofa to lo wasol nei o onga las mo nei le lo fatino ina ia o nga mo le staff mo tanga talawa ia fenga luanga o ofisa ina im fai ona fa la tele la tamai mal to mai i a wala ma fai ai ona sa ili matata noa i au fenga luanga pom tanga luanga se ina im fai ona fa ma tuina nga luanga mo ila to o wa faina tino man ma fo nisi la proclama lo fa nei la o temi nei la bala foi le te voto tal noa ile pulo o sem tanga luanga ma famtala to proclama pa tawa to ia nga va foi o ila to lo matunga lue ma se lava ia alum fa nau po tanga anu lo ia i fa le to tino man ma fo na en fai ona mo ni nga luanga la sona ne amatina nei o la so ta ia la fa pe on tal noa ia matou mange na malanga mai lo fa pe ona bala uli ai employers po o ngaluanga matanga luanga malo manisho fo matanga luanga private ne fai ona fa mamna matoi fo ia awala e ma fai en so sani tanga lo tono ma to proclama ina ia ila to business ia lo ngalo fam talanga ina in fai ona la to lo a yen tanga lo ia fai no tino por ma fo ele fa pe ele fai nga luanga ai e ma fai ma to ona awina ia tanga tane i si ati to mai ma mtulang umalava e ma fai ai ona hoatu sai mina tunga luanga fa fatu male i male ma to office moni fa tai le sungan ma fi fa ton ya faton wasai ona ne no ma tongo fi o talton ele au mo fo ile nei tulanga mai ai ia professor mai la to lo ia la tamai mai man malo tele ina fai ni o nga fa penei o le o le ngā mal tau o le tūlanga e whaina sautanga tō tasi peto lua ia e whainga train ma le staff i lo le tau whai o e whafo ia e na tō tasi peto lua tanga te whai e mātou ona tongi e o e moa i nei a o ngai whaftai le newa noa o whai e o ma whatasi ma matfoma ia tem e Malaysia ona soa le lo te tanu mai fo ina nei ina i whain whatanu ina nei fofo.
O le nei mata opo lo il matanga luenga i leo le temi nei. A o whaatino le ngā luenga lau whale whaasara lau e manatua pēr upo le atunuu ia seu le manu ai tanga i le ngalu. Ona o le maa ale o le nei mata upu whaapea e o lo a fiai. O le ale whaalau i loa e lau Kvzk TV ni suafa. E le ngata i le puipuinga o le saunga le mua o le nei alo, ai whaapea fo i le vai a lofa i le au te lenga o le au whai ngā luenga. Ai mai se lea mana e ina o le tausi ngā luenga o le ekale sia o lo ngalue ai le ua molia nei. I totono le nei reporti e whaapea sa reportia le nei mata upu i leo e le sunga i le pule a onga o le a ongolo iai nei le tamaitai. Ma satu ina atu i leo le nei mata upu. O mātua o le wa fia sa malangatu i Samoa i se fuafuanga whale a inga ai na tu ina lo la alo i le ua molia nei malo na tu olua e vaia au tu e sea mātua. Pei taio le asa tolo Iuni o le vai asu na te nei sa whaamatalaina ai e le wa fieli whaalewelave sa tupu. Ina ua te iane o lo whaia e le ua molia ni winga matanga ia te ia. Se i tulo sa ia tau mawhai una i ese pei tai. Na whao ngai le ua molia lo na malo se tau fiai ia i lalo. Na o ane malo le malo i whale niu i le maota nofo o le ua molia nei ma whaatonuina ina iho o atu le ofiso leo i tāfuna. Sa te ena i le ua molia nei whaamatalanga tustusia le tamaitai, pei taina toe suia le natali i le ioe, sa ia whaamalo sia lo na nis, ma ia whaia winga matanga e peo na ripotia. Ua tatala ina i tua le ua na fusala e whaatali aso lo na whaamsinonga. Nuna i aso le lei mai lau Kvzk News. Sa whaia se whaatala noa ngā le fionga iau i whaatali au mua a mata, ma tai o so sa iete a whawhawhine i se teimi wa sola. Ma tala no inai nisi o mata upu tā ua e au fiele mata upu e tau i fisosoani tupe mai le federale mo le mata ngā luenga wa onga. O le polo a inga le a fionga le presidente ya Trump e tusa ma le whaalau te leina o le vaenga le o ngā sami e mawhai o na whango teina e au fiei American Samoa. Whaapea nisi o mata upu e tau i le territory. Sa mawhai na whaamala malama i le sui au au i le kona karesi mata upu e tusa ma fasilio lea whaatala noanga. E le ngata i lea a o le ese senga o polo a inga sa sainia le a fiunga de presidente o se tase o nei polo a inga sa sainia le asos fitu o le masino aparila o le tausanga nei e whaopopo ina ai le whaalau te leina. O le vaenga o le o ngā sami ma whaiuna whangota ina e waa whangota. O lo o tau aveina le tangawai o Amerika ai mese o waa mai le territory. O se fuafuanga tau o tele a wā le sapala ina o la tātou company ia. O le atina e tele lea o le atunu. I lea whaata singa sa ia wha malama ina i le tūlanga le tali mai o le federale. Inisi o fuafuanga le matanga luenga wa onga. O se tasi o vaenga e au na sila fia o lo au fiai nisi o stete whaapea nisi territorial malu tele. I nisi neo whai unga le matanga luenga tele o a onga Amerika. Mai le o a fiai mata opu mapoloketi wa umona pasia le federale. O lo o whaawa upea whanutanga ma whaatala noanga le fionga iau i whaatali. Ma le mamalo le atunuu ina ia whaamala malama ma whaanofo file mo popo lenga mātunga lunga o le mamalo le atunuu. I nisi o whaamatalanga whiaweai e tusa mamata upu mai le malo tele. Nuna yaso le lei mai lau Kvzk News. Ia tātou tala mai Samoa ua whaalia le vaenga upu whai a le Human Rights Protection Party la lātou fuafuanga e sa lātou tau mawhainga ina ia fisoasoani i le tūlanga ua o iai le atunu o Samoa ua lenga whaatia le atunu le taunga tau le soifuanga ua o iai. Sa sau no le taitai o le HRPP le afionga ia tu ila epa Dr. Sailele Maliele Ngoi e tusa malifa moe moe lana vaenga whai. Ma ieto e sau noai le vaitemi whaato atu la mai ele fast e taitai le malo. Sa manatu le HRPP o le atu la mai le fast e mao popoai le atunu. Ma whaawau ngā luenga sa lātou whaia. Pe tai ua vaia se tūlanga le manuia o iai nei. Ua oi le atunu le tangata o le soifuanga. Sa avea Samoa o se atunu tanga i mawhai mawhata te inga le tutono le Pasifika. Sa fia muli tai iai le tele o whainga malo o peitai. Ua nao le matanga le tūlanga lea ua iai ne le whainga malo Samoa. Ua amusia le to tele o atunu. O le poloketi a le HRPP e ta o le kola po le cost of living allowance e fesoasoani ai le atunu le atula i mai. O le fesoasoani ai le mamalo le atunu le tupe whaasoa a inga. A whaio se ainga e to ono tangata e 5 se lauta la Samoa le tangata. O lona atoanga e tolu afeta la i le tausanga e fesoasoani ai le malo i lalo le taitainga a le HRPP. O le nei fofuanga o le taumawhai lea ina i ave ese mai Samoa mai le tūlanga maulalo ona ua le tango 5. Nuna yaso le lei mai lau KVZK News. Maua tātou tala muli i le nei a fiafi e luas fuluiva tausanga o Kevin Ventura Galvez o Guam ua tau fia nei e leo ona o lona tau whaamatau o tangata e whaapea o lo o iaia ni pomu o lea tau whaamatau nei uai ina tāpunia ni seu businessi o le popole o tangata whaapea le ofisa o le awhionga ko vana o Guam o mo Lia Galvez i le whaamsinonga sili a le territory o Guam ona o lona tau whaamatau whaapea anga whaatangata whaatupu whaalawelawe whaapea nisi o molianga e valu sa ia whaia malona mauti noa e ono a fiaiso i fuo le lautele ma o ana ngai o inga sa whaia sa le ina nofo le iaile to o tele o loo a lala e latane le nofuanga sa iaile ne ele. O si mea lau whaafonga ma lau mai moa i nisi o talo le tau ma le tai mo American Samoa. O whaiunga nā o talo le nei a fiafi o se tautua a lau KVZK TV. Whaafitaitele lo whaatasi mai, tau wha seifua.
Tofoi Pupu Nutoa crowned as Miss American Samoa. Vocational rehabilitation trainings by team from off-island. Member of clergy held on sodomy charges. Talofa, this is your evening news on KVZK TV. Tofoi Pupu Josephine Unutoa. has been crowned Miss American Samoa. She is the daughter of Matamatafua Unutoa and Asinate Fuimonopine from Aua. 24-year-old Unutoa won the interview on stage, sarong category, and the awa ceremony during the pre-pageant activities. The pageant was held over the weekend at the Governor Rex Lee Auditorium in Utulei. Unutoa is a 2018 graduate of Samoana High School, and she holds a bachelor's degree in criminology and criminal justice from the Southern Oregon University. In addition to her studies, she is a commissioned officer in the United States Army and is currently employed as a compliance officer with the ARPA office. As indicated earlier, Unutoa won the interview category with the question, "What does failure mean to you, and how has it helped you grow?" Here is her response.
What I failed prepared me to be better and to grow into a leader that my soldiers need, that my siblings need, that my parents depend on, that my co-workers can rely on, that American Samoa can count on. So ask that if I failed again and again, I will continue to pick up myself over and over and over. Fail again can only haunt you if you don't do something about it. Use it at your advantage and be better for the person that is looking up to you. Thank you.
Julieta Whengai Mali'i with your news on KVZK. The Office of Vocational Rehabilitation's mission is to assist people with disabilities in gaining employment. Experts from the Technical Assistance Center for Quality Employment are hosting the training to help with this endeavor. Office of Vocational Rehabilitation Executive Director Adrian Masai elaborated on this initiative in an interview with KVZK TV.
The Office of Vocational Rehabilitation has on island Director of Quality Employment. We also call it QE, Dr. Timothy Tansey, and he's here to conduct training for our counselors, our staff, in regards to employment. Again, vocational rehabilitation, one of our mission is to assist individuals with disabilities in attaining employment. So he's here to assist our counselors, especially our counselors, with ways in which we can assist our clients with seeking and gaining and maintaining employment here on island. He'll be here for, we have two, Dr. Timothy Tansey, the director of QE, and then we also have Dr. Michael Frand, who will also be doing training with him. It'll be training with both the private and the public sector. So this is where his focus will be as far as the relationship or the connection that private and the public sectors will have in terms of employing our clients here at Vocational Rehabilitation. We have about 300 people who are employed under the Vocational Rehabilitation program that we have here. Because our clientele is different, we have a lot of different clients. For example, those who are transitioning from the high school into the workforce. We also have programs for the VA. We also have programs for those who just have disabilities itself. So we have a wide range of different clients that we serve here at the Vocational Rehabilitation. So at this time we have about 300 who are clients of Vocational Rehabilitation, and we're still seeking more. This is also an outreach to try to get more of our people, those with disabilities, in terms of assisting them with employment. So at this time, I'm not quite sure as far as the number, but it's increasing. The main ones, the age group in terms of our clientele are between the ages of 30s, 40s, and 50s. That's the age range. But we're working more We're still continuing to work with that age range, but we're also targeting those who are going to be graduating from high school, because a lot of times when they finish high school, they don't go to work because of their disability or so forth. So we're really trying to reach out to them to help them and let them know and be aware that we're here and we can assist them with finding employment right after high school.
Dr. Timothy Tansey, Director of the Vocational Rehabilitation Technical Assistance Center for Quality Employment, is conducting the training for departments, agencies, and the private sector.
I'm here on the island to provide training to the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation to support their overall capacity in providing supports and training to individuals with disabilities who are seeking employment. Focus of this training is a multi-day training over the next several days with the goal of increasing their ability to work effectively with businesses on the island, to identify opportunities for individuals with disabilities, and ultimately support those businesses in the hiring and long-term retention of persons with disabilities. The focus is really trying to promote opportunities for all individuals, while certainly promoting the success of businesses in the ability to obtain and retain qualified personnel towards their broader success. In addition to that is also developing some supports and structures to assist with their evaluation and assessment of individuals to identify what work skills, what abilities, and what interests they have, so that they can effectively match individuals with disabilities to employment in positions that are best suited for their own capacity. This project works with agencies throughout the United States and throughout the country. The focus of it is really identifying and figuring out ways to support great work that is being done by agencies and make it even better. So really going into each agency, identifying what are the specific needs, and then ultimately providing training and technical assistance to improve those overall capacities of staff, ultimately to the benefit of individuals with disabilities and businesses hiring individuals. Specific again here, and I think the evolution here was certainly welcoming the invitation to come here to the island and provide direct training. This is really the culmination of what we look at online and remote training that's been happening over the last year with representatives of the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, but really trying to do a training component that's much more enhanced or in larger scale than what we've been able to do to this point via remote opportunities.
In news from the court, a man is being held in police custody without bail on sex charges involving his 18-year-old niece. Kvzk TV will not name the defendant, a clergy member, to protect the victim. The defendant made his initial appearance in district court today. According to court filings, the incident came to light when the victim's school principal contacted the police for assistance last week. The victim's parents are in Samoa for a funeral. Court filings say during the interview, the victim told police she was asleep when she felt someone touching her in a sexual manner, and when she woke up, she saw that it was her uncle. The victim fought off the defendant, but the defendant continued inappropriately touching her. After the incident, the suspect told his niece not to say anything about what happened. After the police interviewed the victim, they went to the defendant's house in Faleniu and asked him to follow them to the police station in Tafuna. During the initial questioning, the defendants firmly denied the allegations. However, as the interview progressed and further evidence was presented, he eventually acknowledged the sexual misconduct claims made against him. The defendant is facing charges of sodomy and felonious restraint. Joyeta Fengaimali with your news on KVZK. In other news, Congresswoman Uifatali Amuamata met with the Society of Fa'afine in American Samoa to discuss key issues, including the status of the U.S. Department of Education federal school funding and the April 17th executive order on fisheries, which is separate from the critical minerals order. Congresswoman Uifatali Amuamata recently hosted a roundtable meeting with leaders from the Society of Fa'afine in American Samoa, or SOFIAS, to address questions and discuss various issues raised by the community. The primary topics of discussion included the recent executive order on seabed mining, which aims to establish a regulatory framework to ensure sustainable practices while extracting resources from the ocean floor. Additionally, participants addressed pressing educational matters concerning the current status of the United States Department of Education and the implications of federal funding for schools across the territory, highlighting disparities in resource allocation and the need for equitable access to quality education. Another focal point was the Executive Order on Fisheries issued in April, which seeks to bolster the management and preservation of marine ecosystems. It is crucial to emphasize that this order operates independently from initiatives related to critical minerals. Further topics of interest encompass the Cook Islands seabed mining agreement with China, shedding light on the geopolitical ramifications of this partnership and China's expanding influence in the Indo-Pacific region. The discussion also covered advancements in traditional and innovative critical mineral mining technologies, including techniques to reduce environmental impact and increase efficiency. Other important issues included the health of coral reef ecosystems, which face significant threats from climate change and human activities, and concerns related to passport processing and travel regulations. Finally, the dialogue addressed specific matters pertinent to the Fa'afafine community, exploring cultural recognition and their unique challenges within local and international contexts. Amata acknowledged the opportunity to discuss many important and timely issues with SOFIA members who had thoughtful questions and comments. She pledged to prioritize engaging with the community in the territory to represent local constituents in Washington effectively. These meetings serve as listening sessions, providing updates on events, legislation, and discussions taking place in Washington, D.C. Joyeta Fiangay Mali reporting for KVZK. In news from Apia, the Human Rights Protection Party has become the first political party in Samoa to publicly release parts of its manifesto, including an ambitious poverty alleviation strategy costing 110 million tala annually in preparations for the general elections in August. During the launch of the initiative last week, Friday, Human Rights Protection Party leader Tuilaepa Dr. Sailele Malielingoi emphasized the aim of alleviating poverty and restoring integrity in Samoa. He reflected on the recent elections, stating, and I quote, "When HRPP did not win during the last election, I asked in Parliament, Fiame, is that the government? Did we hand over the government without doubts, division, poverty, and a high cost of living?" Tule'epa expressed that they handed over the government sincerely hoping that the Fa'atuatuele Tua Samoa Watasi Party would lead the country to success. But instead, the people are crying out helplessly due to the very high cost of living and poverty. He said Samoa was once one of the Pacific Island countries that others looked up to, but is now embarrassing to witness the current situation. He declared that if they win the general election in August, they will prioritize alleviating poverty in the country, adding that they aim to take the people away from the government that cannot unite its citizens, a government that is currently divided and has put the country in trouble and embarrassment, and that the poverty alleviation proposal is called the Cost of Living Allowance, or COLA. HRPP Deputy Leader Lawofo Fontoy Pierre noted that this project aims to help families regain financial stability. He stated that there will be cash grants of $500 for each family member annually. For a family of 6, that translate to $3,000 yearly. Similarly, a family of 10 would receive $5,000 annually from the COLA project. Fonoto emphasized their belief in providing equal opportunities for all of Samoa to ensure no one is left behind. The HRPP plans to release more details of its manifesto in the coming days. Joyeta Fiangay Mali with your news on KVZK. And finally, in news from the region, the Guam Police Department arrested 29-year-old Kevin Ventura Galvez for making bomb threats that led to business closures. He faces multiple charges, including terroristic conduct and creating a false alarm, with 8 counts filed in the Superior Court of Guam. Police responded to threats at Payless Supermarket and a hotel, followed threats at Guam Premier Outlets, as well as the Office of the Governor. Detector dogs from the Guam International Airport Authority Police helped clear the establishments. Detectives from the Juvenile Investigation Section and the Federal Task Force identified a person of interest during the investigation. Up next is your weather and tide. That's your evening news. Thank you for joining us so far, so far.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVCK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVCK TV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
Voice of the Sea, learning from experts across the ocean.
Welcome to Voice of the Sea. In this episode of Voice of the Sea,
we're at the beach on Maui with coastal hazard specialist Tara Owens. Tara explains the importance of sand dunes in protecting beaches, how they supply sand to the beach and provide habitat for the wildlife that inhabits them. Tara also shows us how building seawalls can take away the sand dunes, causing major beach erosion. So when you talk about dune restoration, what does that physically look like? How do you
follow nature's cues. You find out, you'll start to see where sand begins, wind-blown sand, it blows down the beach and it starts to mound up. And you can take advantage of that. So you may start out with some sand fencing, like what you see right here.
Oh, I see.
Sand fencing. And it's placed strategically to collect sand as it blows down the beach. And once it starts trapping sand, then you have the beginnings of your dune, and then you can start colonizing it with the appropriate species.
Very cool.
Yeah. This is Kamaole 3 Beach Park. There's a long stretch of beach marks along the shoreline here, and they're pretty heavily used. This area is popular with locals and tourists because the beaches are nice and wide, and there are lots of different beaches, and the beaches are really accessible. You know, there are other places on the island where you can go, and the beach is a lot harder to get to. There may be no parking, or they're privatized. A long time ago, this whole area of South Maui, Kihei, was wetland with large coastal dunes and wide beaches.
And then, so you said there's a lot of vegetation here, and I see the alpaca and things. what's going on in terms of beach restoration at this site?
Well, right. We're here to talk about the beaches and the dunes. And what I like to stress to people is that the beaches aren't just here for recreation. They, we think of them as it's a place where we go swimming and snorkeling and diving and kiting and surfing, all those things that everybody knows about. But the beaches and the dunes also serve a really important natural function, lots of important natural functions. The dunes themselves are very important because they do a couple of things. They supply sand to the beach. If there are no dunes, there's no extra sand for the beach. They also protect development. The dunes are there so to supply the beach with sand and to protect the development behind it, homes, buildings, major infrastructure like roads and sewers from high waves when we have big swells, when we have storms.
Mm-hmm. So even though like the Naupaka, say if we look over there, it looks pretty permanent, but you're saying that that sand that it's built on can actually wash into the ocean if there were a high storm event.
Right. When you have high waves, the water can reach all the way up to the base of these dunes, and then the sand becomes mobilized in the beach system. And in a big storm, the sand will move offshore into the water as the water carries it back offshore. And when it does that, the water becomes shallower. The sand fills in the pukas in the reef or maybe forms little sandbars offshore. The water becomes shallower, the waves break farther offshore, and that reduces the energy at the shoreline. And so it helps to prevent loss of the beach. Okay, maybe we should move on down to the dunes.
Okay. You know, I hear that the Naupaka protects the dunes and it allows the sand to accrete, but then what happens to the Naupaka? And as you said, it's just sacrificial.
It's sacrificial. It can be replanted or it may regrow on its own. But the interesting thing about Naupaka is you see a ton of Naupaka along, at least on Maui, along the beaches. And a lot of times it's actually planted. And here's the Naupaka we're talking about. And this is a good example of what Naupaka should look like on a dune system. It's not really dense, it's not expansive. But there are a lot of places where the Naupaka is used for landscaping and it's irrigated. And when it's irrigated, it becomes very, very thick and very, very dense. And that actually works against the beach because it doesn't allow the sand to naturally build up into the mounds that ultimately form sand dunes. It almost behaves something like a seawall, which impounds the sand and doesn't allow it to, the dune to develop. You can see the posts and ropes here along this dune line. And the reason this post and rope here is because we have some active dune restoration going on. So these dunes here in the parks had gotten pretty degraded, and about, maybe 5 or more years ago, we started a pretty extensive dune restoration program here. And so we've actually thinned out a lot of the Naupaka.
Oh, wow.
And we've planted some other species like beach morning glory, which you see the vines up there behind Malka of the Naupaka is beach morning glory or pahuihui. And it's a very, very good dune colonizer. And then you'll see little sprigs of grass in between sticking out. Those are aki grass. That's another very good dune colonizer. So those are really kind of the 3 primary ones we use in our restoration projects. Naupaka, pahuihui, and aki. Maybe a lot of people don't know about the sand on our beaches. The sand on a lot of our beaches, this white, yellowish colored sand, is all carbonate sand. It's calcium carbonate, and we call this biogenous sand, the root of the word being bio, which means that it comes from living things, like calcareous shells of mollusks or various types of calcareous algae out in the coral reef that erode over long periods of time and become beach sand. Sand is actually really interesting. Generally, if you're in a wave environment, especially with really big waves, you have coarser sands. So big waves equate to coarser sands. And that's because big waves carry away the finer grain sands. They get suspended in the water and get carried off. And only the coarser grains remain. And then the fine grains get blown by the wind up into the dunes. And that's what begins the creation of a dune system. So the trade winds blow from the east along the North Shore and along the eastern portion of Maui. But then they get funneled right between those two mountain systems and come straight down this coastline directly from the north. Oh. So even though the trade winds originate from the east, in this area they blow from north to south.
So the shape of Maui actually turns the wind.
That's right.
And kind of funnels it along the
That's
South
right.
Maui.
And so wind is a huge factor for beaches here. It's what causes a lot of sand transport up and down the beach, and it's what creates our dunes. There have been times we had a really big south swell in August, and it was one of the biggest south swells we had here on Maui in maybe like 5 years. And so if you would have come down to this beach on that day, the waves would have been up here at the base of the dune.
Oh my gosh.
So again, a good example of why dunes are so important, why we have to have them here.
Voice of the Sea, learning from experts across the ocean.
Can you make a guess on how old the sand is?
Oh, that's a difficult question.
The modern day sand that you would consider young, there's only a small portion of that, of the percentage on the beaches is modern sand. There's not a whole lot of modern sand being made. So a lot of the sand that exists on beaches may be more than like 1,000, maybe even up to 4,000 and 5,000 years old.
Wow. Really?
That's really true. So when you think about it, that has big implications because there's a thin ribbon of sand around all our islands. And if a lot of it's very old and there's not a lot of new sand being produced, that means that once we lose what we have, it may be gone. So we have to really protect our beaches and protect the sand. We're really lucky here on Maui. We have a group of volunteers, the South Maui Volunteers, or Ho'alaha Aina is what they call themselves. And they'll trim back the naupaka if need be, or remove other invasive species. Make sure that if there's a need for posts and rope to kind of keep people out of the active dune system. So we're at the south end of Kamaole 3 Beach Park, and we're moving up here into the back dune area and coming up on a basalt headland. And it's another good place to point out one of the other really critical functions of dunes, which is habitat for certain, in this case, seabird species. And there's one really important one that has, I know for a fact there's some nests, burrows up here called the shearwater. And so we actually pulled the newly hatched chicks out of their burrows and banded them for DLNR.
I've heard a lot about the shearwaters and even the banding program. So, oh look, you can see feathers.
You can see feathers. Those are feathers from the shearwater chicks. And they're an interesting species because when they leave, they go away for, we think, a period of 6 or 7 years. And then they actually come back 7 years later to the same place where they were hatched and build their own nests. And they mate for life. It's really important for us to maintain their habitat as well, considering that they come back where they started. So another really important function of our natural dunes. On the north shore of Maui. Contrast that with where we came from, which was the south shore. This is, for this island and most Hawaiian islands, a pretty volatile environment because we always have the trade winds blowing and the north swells that come in the wintertime. And that's what makes this whole shoreline very interesting. The entire north shore has relatively high erosion rates. So this is one of the beaches. This is just one example along the North Shore of where we're experiencing really rapid erosion. And the development right behind us here has in the past been threatened by high waves and inundation of the water. We had a big tsunami this past year in March, and the water from the tsunami went well behind these homes.
Oh my God.
In some places close to the road that we were traveling on to get here. And a lot of sand was overwashed into these properties when we had the tsunami waves. So these homes here, this development, they've been battling beach erosion.
Mm-hmm. And how do you battle it? Like, what do you do to stop it?
Well, you know, there are a range of options. Well, let me start with, let's talk a little bit about what causes erosion.
Okay.
Really, there are three main causes. One is human development or human impacts to the beach. That can be something like building a seawall. But basically, when you build things like seawalls and revetments, you impound the sand behind it and you prevent the sand from becoming part of the active beach system and resupplying the beach with sand when it needs it. Mm-hmm. Another thing that humans have done is mine beaches. And that has actually happened a lot here on the North Shore.
That's where we actually take the sand from one beach and we move it somewhere to another beach.
So that's one thing, humans. The second thing are waves and currents. Mm. And the third thing that causes erosion is sea level rise. We're in a period of sea level rise globally, and Hawaii is not immune to that. So here on the North Shore, we have all three of those things happening.
So let me just see those three things again, were human impacts, natural weather events, and sea level rise.
That's right. Well, let's take a look at the sand.
Oh, it's different.
It's different.
It's much more coarse than on the south side.
And you have a guess why that is?
Because there's larger wave action here.
That's right.
Bye!
Yay! Like we said before, bigger waves generally create bigger grains of sand.
Exploring Our Fluid Earth is the dynamic curriculum developed by the University of Hawaii's Curriculum Research and Development Group. The award-winning Fluid Earth and Living Ocean textbooks are now interactive and online. New activities, updated content, and a teacher community. Exploring Our Fluid Earth is now freely available. Find out more at exploringourfluidearth.org. Voice of the Sea.
And so about a year ago, this was the first attempt on Maui at something like this. There's six private homeowners along here funded a beach renourishment project. Because it's the North Shore, they had a lot of challenges just because of the volatile environment that we have here in the North Shore with wind and waves, and there's coral reef to contend with, and you don't want to damage that. And certainly you don't want to cause any adverse impacts like fuel leaks and damaging the reef by hitting the reef with your equipment and things like that. Another thing they did in addition to bringing sand on the beach is they placed 4 structures called groins. Uh-huh. You can see one of those structures at the other end of the beach down here. If we want, we can walk down and look at it.
Let's go take a look.
Yeah, so a groin is basically a shore perpendicular structure. Can be made out of a lot of different things. Sometimes it's rocks. In this case, the one we're going to be seeing is made out of a geotextile fabric. Formed into a tube and filled with sand. And so the groins are placed along the beach, hopefully to retain sand as it moves up and down the beach.
Sideways.
It traps the sand. This is a geotube groin.
Oh my God, it's hard.
It's very hard. It's completely filled to the brim with sand.
But then once the waves start to hit it, it starts to...
You can see that this one actually has been impacted by its environment. And that's one of the downsides to these geotube groins, is that they can be damaged. It has been very common in the past that there was really very little sand beach here at all. And you can see there is some sand beach here right now.
So the homes that are here now, are they within the current day setback regulations, or are they sort of grandfathered in? They were built closer to the beach than we'd allow now?
Most of these homes along this particular stretch of beach where we're standing now are relatively new homes, and so they were probably subject to the existing regulatory requirements for shoreline setbacks, which are based on the location of the shoreline and then an erosion rate that the county has established for determining their setbacks. And those erosion rates are based on some research done by the University of Hawaii on how the shorelines around the island have changed over time.
Can you show me some of the signs of erosion right here?
Sure. This existing wall that we're looking at right here probably wasn't intended to be a seawall, actually. Probably was more like a landscaping feature, a retaining wall. Certainly the tennis court wasn't this close to the shoreline when it was put here. So you can definitely see evidence of beach erosion, and now part of this development is much closer to the shoreline than anybody would have probably desired for it to be. Fortunately, most of them were subject to some type of setback regulation, but there are places on the island where large buildings, condominiums, or even smaller homes were built prior to any regulations being in place. And in those cases, we literally have buildings falling in the water. And those are the really difficult cases, because in those cases, there's no time for beach renourishment. And typically, unless retreat was a real option, unless actually picking up homes and buildings and moving them away from the shoreline was an option, then it leaves us really in emergency situations where the only option is hardening the shoreline. And that can be undesirable for a couple of reasons. So maybe we'll walk down to the other end of this beach and look at a seawall and show you what it can do to the beach and the shoreline.
So we talked earlier about the tsunami and how it came through these houses.
Yeah, so I actually believe that the tsunami may have benefited some of these properties along the North Shore. You can see the piles of sand right here, almost forming what appears to be almost like a dune. And what I think happened, and maybe contributing to why the beach is in such good condition right now, is that the tsunami wave was actually able to dredge up some of the deeper sands offshore that normal waves wouldn't be able to carry with it, and pushed it back up onto the beach. And a lot of that sand overwashed into the private developments, into the yards, and then we pushed that sand back up onto the beach, and that's the piles of sand you see here.
Let's take a look at this seawall.
This foundation of this home has been exposed for a while, and it appears that either the project here with the groins and the renourishment, or the combination of that project with the addition of sand from the tsunami have really filled in this area with a lot more sediment than existed here before. And for now, it looks like the home is protected, at least for the short term. A lot of the seawalls along this particular stretch of shoreline have been in place for a long time. And what you'll notice is that in front of the seawalls, there's no beach.
There's no beach. That's and is that every time they build a seawall like this, the beach goes away. And then if you look next door where there's no seawalls, there's a beautiful beach. Yeah. And it's so counterintuitive. We build these walls to protect our beach, but it actually makes the beach go away.
Right. You can protect the development, or you can protect the beach, but you really can't protect both in some cases. And that's the unfortunate thing. Because when properties are threatened, these are people's lives and their homes, and it becomes a very, for the regulators, it becomes a very difficult decision moment. What do you do? Right. Do you protect the development, or do you protect the beach? Because what happens when you build a seawall is that, you'll remember we talked about how sand dunes are so important with supplying sand to the beach, or just having sand available to the system, even if it's not in the form of a dune. Right. Once you build a wall, you're impounding all that sediment behind it. So it's no longer available to naturally replenish the beach. In addition to that, when the waves interact with the wall, they reflect off of it. And all of that wave energy carries the sand away with it.
Sure.
And so that's what ultimately results in the loss of the sand in
Because
front
the
of it.
sand is normally porous, so the water can go through it and it dissipates, but the rocks are not porous.
That's right, exactly.
I never thought about it like that before. Thank you so much for taking me around today and showing me the different parts of Maui and the beach issues you're dealing with. If there are people who want to learn more about helping to restore the beach or what they can do with their own property or even just about the rules and regulations, where can they go?
That's a really good question. Thanks for having me. It's been really fun. Again, if you go to the Sea Grant website, there's a breakdown of our staff by island and then and by topic, like coastal hazards. And so you can find the people you need for the island you live on.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
The University of Hawaii Sea Grant College Program, helping coastal communities of Hawaii and the Pacific through research, education, and outreach. Serving the community, from elementary to graduate students. Hawaii Sea Grant.
The Curriculum Research and Development Group in the College of Education at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. CRDG's training roots go back over 40 years. Through professional development programs, curriculum workshops, research on teaching methodology, individualized school and district training, and so much more. The Curriculum Research and Development Group, improving schools, improving education. CRDG.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVCK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVCK TV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa. Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVCK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVCK Tv Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
Yeah, so much tato pati nga muna ngai whangai tua tau lungar tato wha moe. Whaftai whangai tua. Yeah. Ole avanole nei mo le sunga ya Francis Manone Leua. Mo lana saunoanga whaigo se tasi ro fita I tunga le tau mo whainga nei proklama. Lau sunga Francis, mo lau saunoanga whaigo.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for all of our young people that performed for you tonight? You do better than that. We saw almost 300 students on this stage perform for you today. Without these people in the background, we wouldn't have this program. First of all, we'd like to thank you to Reverend Faunga Tili for blessing our program or for the words of wisdom today. Thank you so very much. All the secondary principals and teachers, thank you for your patience and thank you for supporting music and for doing what you do in the schools and sharing music with our young people. All the parents that support all these young people you saw today, without your support, we wouldn't be here today or any of our special programs for our schools. Thank you, parents, so very much. And all of the friends, family who have come to witness this program, thank you for coming and enjoying our young people's talents today. Our Honorable Governor Tongyola and First Lady, they're usually here every year in the front row, but due to government circumstances, they're off island, but we thank them for their words that they send, words of wisdom for our young people today. Malaitele, Dr. Louis Tuitele, thank you for supporting music and thank you for being with us here today. Our Deputy Directors, Philo Jennings and Dr. Claire Pomele, our Assistant Directors, Donna Gurr, OCIA, and her staff, Julia Tufa, Secondary Education, and her staff, Dr. Levine, we wouldn't be here without, or for the wonderful lunches they had for our young people, Pulsila Ngaloya, who brought them here on the buses. KVCK for taping this program for a later date, and for Malamalama TV for airing it live. So, Aliu Malamalama TV live, talofa. Just a little word about our music, our festival. We've been asked why this is not a competition. It's very simple. For me, music is an art form. Art form deals with aesthetics. Aesthetic deals with the philosophy of beauty. Beautiful music, beautiful things like that. And for me to decide that one school you sing beautiful music, and for another school to say, you don't do beautiful music, to me, that's against everything the art form of music is about. So it's much better for me to sit here and enjoy the different variety of music and the different things we see on stage, rather than listen to them sing one song, and who does that one song best. So I feel the festival format is much better for our programs. And once again, we thank you all for joining us, you on TV, bless you all, and thank you very much.
Ja, whaftai Francis. Ja, e pei for tātou to mua I le tua, e tau for tātou to e whai u le tua e ase manuia nei proklama. O leo te talo atua I lewa mar whalo alo e sunga le li tai tai pese I whangai tua, pa mon mole se ta pena mai se tātou vi inga o le tua. A mai a leo te talo atu le ava mar whalo alo I le sunga le whawhengainga ia whaunga tili, se whai wina le tātou maftanga por tātou proklama I le so se talo whaftai.
Ai le tātou whai ul talsanga. Mo muano o whaatai atu. Fo mai amalai tele. Malima malu lo lātou ofisa e tusale nei proklama. Mo le mawinga I le nei asu. O se proklama manuia. Alo ma whanau o le tātou atunu. Te lele au ngā. Te lele tāua mo tau whanau. Mo le mawinga nei aso, ua ngā tele mo tau. Mo li atu le whaatai, le unga inga pial nei proklama, le whamai a mlai tele, Whaptai foi Francis ma whaletua, leo ngai ngā foi o lea proklama tonu aonga, whamalo foi whaptai whai aonga, mea moni o lea foi le tau whai atu o le whātung sili o aonga, mei se foi o la ua eo lo tau tainga le nei whamoe moe ma le nei proklama, e le ma whaina tau lau o le whamoe moe pe a whai le ei se ngā lua e whatas, whaptai mātua mo le mawina ne yaso, tātou whai o le tau sanga. Fo i atu le viinga i a te oe o le tua lo mātou ta mā. Tu mau lava i a te oe le au noa. O le nei aso le li ie wa mātou mōli mawinga whatasi le ngā luenga o mātou whanau. Sa whianga iai le ainga o whaiaonga, mo lo lātou tau mo whainga le li ie. Le wa mātou vāva ai ma tangta ngai, le li ie. Wa longo malia pea lo mātou whalongo. Ai mei se foi o le mātou vāva ai. Le solo manuia o le nei wha moe moe. Ma le nei polo kalama wha tulangainga i tutonu o a onga e fia i tutonu si o mātou wa tunu. Wha taitele le tua i le walofa no wanga le lei lunga ya te ilata uma. Ta i tō tasi ona o le poto le tālengi. We tu inatu ya te ilata uma ta i tō tasi le lie. Wa mātou wala watu ya te oe le tamā. A se i alofa. Se i ngā lue pēa ma fo i atu pēa i a te i la tau lea manuia le lei. Se i whao ngā pēa mo mātou whanau. Tupu langa lalo vaoa le li ia lo lato fotu ai mai ma le tupu mai. Ia ma whai ona lato i loa whao ngā inga. Ai a sili ona whao ngā i ovi inga le li ie. A wao le mātou manuia lea mo le ola e wha vavau le tua le tamā. Ianga le lei mo i mātou le nei aso le tua. Whamanuia le wa vea ma tai le ofisa o aonga. Whamanuia le mamalo le ofisa. E o lo lato lango sua fatasi le tua. Whamanuia le wa vea ma tai o le nei proklama. Le aingo whai aonga. O alo ma whanau se i o i mātua o moli mawinga le nei aso. O le a mātou toi fo iatu i o mātua ainga. Le li e mātou te le mai loa o whalo lave tu whafo se. Ia mua au muli au oi so se mea. Fa taunuina manuia a o le viinga i tu mauatu ia te oe le au noa. O lea le mātou tau sanga. E ale le swafa o Yesu lo mātou li o le faola nei se i o le whavavau e whavaulava. Amene. Amene.
By Kirby Shaw is dedicated to our seniors who are graduating, not only Leone High School seniors, but Samoana, Kananefo, Tafuna, Whangaitua. This song is dedicated to you. Anga wa umanga uswa kwe Samoana le mako pese, motina. Okay, so this is dedicated to the seniors. Thank you so much. Before we finish, I want to introduce our officers because they don't get any credit whatsoever. Johnny Sailua, president of the choir this year. Rita Simi, secretary treasurer. Okay. Raise your hand if you are a section leader, soprano section leader. Good. Alto section leader. Tenor section leader. Bass section leader. Okay, thank you very much, and I love you guys.
Apa toi au mai lava stato pati tele na mo la o maulunga mai leone. Whaftai lau sunga pati, whaftai alom whanau malato uma sapina ina nei wha moe moe. Le nao sisila atu la fionga whatonu a mese tato malo wharungia I ngā luenga le leo lo tau ngā lulu e ai. Ea, kanana fau, o tau taimini nei. Next performing group on our program, Kanana Fo, High School, Music Director Maliolio Ailima, Accompanist Mapu Talo and Steve Tinoi Samoa, Composers are Reverend Setefano Lefale, Principal Yasepi Ulu. E tolu ia pespesenga ua tapena mai ai le aonga mai Kanana Fo. O se ua fia I nā peseia. O le ale umi o lau malanga. Soloist Amadeo Aumua. And some of the star performers for Kanana Fo in the past speech festival, Aileen Fatupu Inati and Tavita Walesi. O le matau I le atua. Whawhiawhianga ngā e tolu po pespesenga nā ua tā pena mai ai le aonga I Kanana Fo e tūsa o le tātou polo kalama I le so. Lau songa e tai pese ia tā pena mai lora tātou aonga. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Mighty Stallions.
Moai whatalofa I le paia mal mamalu au fia li nei tae au. A whai e fōu I lau sila ia malau tangatanga ai. Po ai nei I alo ma whanau ia o le aonga mawalunga nei a Kanana Fo ia ua tau ma whai mai I sona sao e whaamata ngō fia atili. O le wha moe Kanana Fo lon tau sanga mua nei ia peia o mea uma a faul fale e a mata I lalo. Ia o le amatanga lea Kanana Fo mo ne tau sanga a mata atu I lalo I lau sila ma lau tangatangai. Ia whasolo atu ai le lumanai. Whaftai usi lau sila ma lau whafonga.
Test. Test.
Test. Test. Hello?
Hello?
Olha!
O malay phone. Olha.
Oh, Irene.
Oi Irene. Ke mang tuanga.
Oi, e.
Ngo vili ako vai polar ko ngolo malanga.
Oi, ele ro que me coela coi quem é sole.
Ya? Ele ko sa we.
Sei lá.
Sali, wa nga me vale penga.
Sei lá ape coela com quem é.
Say Irene. Pole ale umi. Olo malanga to fo imai. Fa ama fana fana ya te au. Mavai sai mi uma. Ua leva ona o. Sueina o e. Ia so ua leva. Ayo tele i mawaina. Sao fa tani tani sitene pei o oe. O tita uina e o le la le lei o Samoa. Sa umai e o mitipo o sa o oe. Ole ale umi o te fatali ai I se tali ai o te le I tauina o e o la upenina o uma fau faunga uana o e lava fia vai mafusi a te oe ai o te le I moe Sao fa tali tali se teine pei o oe O tita uina o le la le lei o Samoa Sa umai e o mitipo o sa o oe Songa ua o fia mautinoa
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVCK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVCK TV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
La ulupe ualele, lele le maoa, italu foi la upele, o la upele ualeilo. La ulupe ualele, lele le maoa, talu foi la upele, o la upele ualeilo.
Manu malo to foi pupu no to ai le palo le tau sala o American Samoa. Faia o onga whaapitoa a le Vogue Rehab e nisi mai fafo. Mo lia se tae o se ekalesia.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVCK TV, Pangupangu, America Samoa. You are watching KVCK TV Channel 2, Pangupangu, American Samoa.
Blunt's Point was actually an interesting historical site that my son and his close friends introduced me to. One day they had learnt about Blunt's Point at school and wanted to go for a hike up the hill to Blunt's Point. So one afternoon in the weekend, we actually went for a hike up and checked out the guns up there. Quite amazing sight. These things are huge.
It's actually Matautu Ridge. I think the Palangis call it Blunt's Point because it's kind of blunted on top. But the Samoan name for the place is Matautu Ridge.
Okay, we're at the Blunt's Point Naval Guns. It's a World War II site. It's on Matautu Ridge, and the Samoan name of the point is Tulu Tulu Point, and it's in American Samoa. It's just above the Pago Pago Harbor. The guns were placed here in order to protect Pago Harbor from invasion during World War II.
At that time, Pago Harbor was quite a strategic point, a point of refueling and stores for the soldiers that were in the area, protecting the Pacific Islands from the Japanese.
American Samoa was the biggest storage depot. This is why this harbor was so valuable, because it was from here that they moved everything out to the rest of the Pacific, you know?
What we learned was that the guns were originally from World War I, where they were on battleships.
And they were brought to American Samoa just before Pearl Harbor, and they were installed here. These guns are unique in the sense that they were two of four sets of guns in American Samoa during World War II. They were the largest defensive guns on the island.
I mean, at that point, we found out that they had these massive 6-inch shells that they would fire out of them out to sea at any potential threats from the Japanese Navy.
They could project shells that were approximately 6 inches in diameter with a range of just over 9 miles. The guns were brought here by the Marines, and they were installed by the Marines and contractors as well as Samoans.
They put them on this sled type thing, like a cable car on a sled, and pulled them up the mountain.
The way they were brought up was on a skidway, because there was no road up here at the time. And so there was a skidway that was actually, they didn't have steel rails at the time, so they used a Samoan hardwood called ifilele.
It's quite impressive when you look back at actually how they did it. A combination of American military and Samoan brute force got those things up the hill and got them positioned and got them in place to protect Pago Pago Harbor.
With a diesel engine that pulled them up using cable. And one of the interesting things is recently the American Samoa Historic Preservation Office has had a survey done, and we've located the approximate location of where that skidway was. We found the concrete anchors that held the steel cables, and we've even found one of the round pulleys that was left behind after the war. The guns were never used in anger. There was only one attack on American Samoa, and it was a submarine that surfaced on the other side of the island and shot shells over the island into Pago Harbor.
And when the Americans conquered the Japanese, they found all the papers, and what they found out that was after Guadalcanal to Solomon Islands, they were coming to Samoa next.
And the Japanese commander must have known either that the guns were here or it was likely that there were large guns defending the harbor, and so he attacked from the other side of the island.
There was some potential threats in the area from the Japanese, and the Japanese did fire upon Pangopango Harbour, but they seemed to, I don't know if it was instinct or some type of information or knowledge that they had received, that Pangopango had 2 of these large weapons in place.
I don't recall too much, but I remember some of the important events. When we were bombed, we were shelled from this side, from over there. I said, I'm trying to think of the boat. I think it was a submarine, Japanese submarine. We got shelled, and most of the shells fell right in out there.
So the Japanese were lobbing shells from Whangasa into Whangatongo, and the only thing they hit was Shimasaki's store. The only Japanese living in American Samoa at the time, they hit Shimasaki's store.
One of our Samoan guys picked up a live shell that did not explode in there. He picked it up and carried it around. Yeah, everybody was funny. Walking right there, it was fun. The guy didn't know it was very dangerous. I was carrying it about this long.
The only time the guns were fired was for practice. And I've talked to old Samoans who were alive at the time, and they told me that they were incredibly loud. Another thing that's interesting about this site is the American Samoa Historic Preservation Office recently conducted an archaeological survey mapping in all of the features, the guns, but also other features that were associated with the site. And what we found was that the people that were manning the guns, they lived up here. And so there's concrete steps that go up into the jungle on 2 separate ridges. So there's a ridge that's associated with the lower gun, and on that ridge there's concrete foundations that were the foundations for barracks and probably mess halls and offices. And then there's another set of similar structures on the upper ridge. So the upper gun, the men stayed up on the upper ridge in the buildings up there, and we've documented all of that. And then with the lower gun, the men stayed on the lower ridge. This hadn't been known before, and so we're going to be using that information to write a report and an article about it, so the public and history scholars have a better idea of how the guns were manned, and we're also going to send that information to the National Register of Historic Places and update the National Register nomination. The guns are currently being maintained by the National Park Service, so they have a crew that comes up here and cuts the grass and maintains the trail to the second gun. They're also help with vandalism issues. There is a small amount of vandalism going on. The upper gun got spray painted. The upper gun is also flooded, and I've been in contact with the National Park Superintendent, and they have some pumps, and there's plans in the works to pump out the lower gun and clean out the drains and see if that can be maintained.
In the year 2000, during the centennial for the territory, a Boy Scout did his Eagle Scout project, and he cleaned up the lower gun and cleaned out the gun emplacement and painted the gun. He also put up a monument to hold the plaque that indicates that Blunt's Point is a National Historic Landmark.
I was working for Governor Lutali when we went up there and it was filled with water and dead frogs, and so the Navy came down, Seabees, and they cleaned it out.
And during the centennial, the Navy sent a brigade of, I'm not sure if that's the right term, but he sent the Seabees, or a construction battalion, to do some volunteer work during the centennial because American Samoa for 51 years was under Naval Administration control. The CB Construction Battalion put in access steps to the guns to make it easier for tourists and local visitors to get to the site.
Blunt's Point is a fantastic historical site that should be visited by a lot more people than I believe visit it on an annual basis. You know,
the guns stand in testament to the legacy of the veterans, both Samoan and from the United States, who helped defend these islands.
And sort of almost feeling that aura around the guns that existed back in World War II, and just imagining how, you know, soldiers would have been stationed there and looking out the harbor, at the harbor mouth, and just waiting for any potential threat that could come along.
So what the people that manned this gun faced were guns that could shoot shells that were 18 inches in diameter, and their range was about 25 miles.
The gunners here couldn't respond because their range was only 9 miles.
So they would have to wait out that shelling. Once those invasion forces got in range, then these guns could start firing. To man these guns took a tremendous amount of courage for those veterans.
The significance of a historical site like that is huge. You know, we have to preserve it in the sense that from generation to generation, you must understand where the next generation came from for the existing generation to move forward and learn from other generations' mistakes, potentially.
Well, you know, it's part of our history. It's part of our history.
I think a lot of our younger generation don't appreciate what has happened in the past. You know, things like a world war are quite inconceivable in today's society, where you have wars in different areas, but it's not the whole world at war.
And the guns, as you know, are listed in the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. It's protected.
The site is an incredibly important site for American Samoan history. We hope that people will visit the site and enjoy the site, contemplate the legacy and the history that American Samoa and the United States have had together, and help to protect and preserve the site for future generations.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVCK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVCK TV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
vai olohia o kahua loa kokohi ka vai puhia e tu aloha e o mai vai olohia o kahua loa kokohi ka vai puhia e tu aloha e o
left in my lane. Since you caressed me, my darling, and sailed away. Crushed orchids and ginger I hold to my heart. So please come back to Hawaii, never depart. A new love may tempt me, but I'll always be true, watching and waiting here in paradise for you. I'll be waiting with blue lace crushed in our embrace, dear, 'cause I love you. And waiting here in paradise for you. I'll be waiting with new lace, a kuipo, to be crushed in our embrace, dear, 'cause I love you, 'cause I love you, ooh, 'cause I love you, ooh, 'cause I love you.
Mātou te whātana pātou le nei asu. Loa sa whanau le whono, whaitu la whono American Samoa. Yorana! Turn it up.
Hey,
Ilunga.
Pagpasalamat ato, siwa.